Welcome to the Dental Brief, the world's direct, right-to-the-point podcast produced to get you the information you need to learn and grow your practice. To learn more about our guests and find links to information discussed on our show, visit our website, dentalbrief.com. On to today's episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dental Brief. Today we have with us Mr. Josh Smith. Josh, say hello.
Hey, everybody.
Josh, tell us about your background a little bit. Tell us how you got how you got in the dental industry. How'd you start working with them?
Like everybody gets in dental for a different reason rather than being a dentist, right?
Sure.
I started out in 2009. I graduated from University of Georgia with a real estate degree in business. Brilliant since the market crashed, right? So I needed to find something. I got into dental just because I had a little bit of an insurance knowledge and honestly just kind of fell in love with it. Sounds a little cliche with falling in love with it, but kind of the business of problem solving with a process is kind of what kept us going. I joined a group out of Savannah, Georgia. It's about 9 offices, and got into the centralized billing location. And that's where we basically just formulated this billing process that we use now with Dental ClaimSupport, which is our outsourced dental billing business.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. And I see, I'm going to tell you, I have a pretty good understanding of the dental industry as a whole, but this is one area that I'm probably the least educated on. But I see, I see a lot of dentists asking questions. And one question I do hear all the time, and as you know, clearly we're glad you're here. What we want to do is give our audience information. We don't want to just pitch your company, but obviously it's a byproduct, which is great for you. But I see this question all the time, like, hey, do you work with an outside? Does anyone work with an outside insurance, billing company, or does anyone know anyone who can handle this, and so on and so forth? Why are they looking for someone? Why are some practices, doing what seems to be pretty well, and then others are desperately trying to find, some help? What's going on out there?
Yeah. So sometimes it's training in general. People just don't know what they don't know. Insurance can backhand you, so to speak, if you really don't know the full process. And it really just kind of boils down to that. If you don't have the staff in place, people leave dental offices a lot. There's tons of turnover in offices. We see that as tons as well. But when it boils down to it, you kind of want your staff focused on your patients. And this is where we really see it work, is they don't deal with the insurance part. So, they can handle all the way up until creating a claim. And then after that, it's out of their hands. So they understand their patient's insurance, but really it's about that patient experience. And then they're not on the phone consistently with insurance companies or going through web portals and getting claims paid. They're not posting payments necessarily. They're not on the phone with insurance researching claims, working that insurance agent report, to where all of the time is freed up. And I think that's what it is a lot of times offices, we say it all the time, they wear too many hats, right? Sure. And they've got 55 things to do, got to make coffee in the morning sometimes too, right? Turn on all the lights, make sure everything's working. Could be a plumbing issue. There's all kinds of different things that happen. And we just saw the need for it, especially once we realized that all the offices that we were working before we even started Dental ClaimSupport, of those 9 offices in Savannah, they all did billing differently. And they were all underneath the same company name, right? The same umbrella. And when we realized that was the case, and we saw some offices performing better than others, or some offices really, really lacking, that's when we were like, okay, this has got to be an issue across the United States if we see it here with one company. With people that knew what they were doing, they were just super busy. When you're running a $1.5, $2 million practice and it's just you. And
right.
That's what that gets lost in translation, that office managers out there, insurance coordinators, they're responsible for $2 million, and a lot of times it falls on their hands.
Yeah. Josh, I saw someone not too long ago, and they said, like, they had an employee that was with them for, I think it was 7 years, and the employee left, and their reimbursement dropped 70%.
Yep.
When that person left. And they said, they was like, this is horrible. This is the worst thing that can happen. I was like, what the worst thing that can happen is when you have an employee leave after 7 years and the new one increases your reimbursements 30% per month, which means for the last 7 years, you're losing 30. At least, when you're doing well and someone leaves, at least what the bar is and what it should look like. So let me ask you this kind of question. I hope this isn't too controversial out there, but a lot of dentists are getting squeezed by PPOs. There's a lot of talk out there, a lot of chatter. I'm sure you see it too. People are trying to figure out how to go fee for service. People are scared to go fee for service. Make the argument for me that why you shouldn't go fee for service. Why you should take advantage of insurance, and what is kind of the deciding factor there?
Well, I mean, you have your folks that are fee for service, of course. That all depends on where you are, right? I mean, you might be in the Hamptons, right?
Sure.
There's no need for insurance in a sense, and they can be fee for service. There's not an issue with getting payment, but the average American out there, we've got dental insurance because we either work for an employer or it's a self-funded plan, whatever the case might be. We need to use those benefits. Therefore, we're going to find a doctor that's in our network because we can get a discount. I think us as any kind of person out there, you want to save money, and you do that by going to a doctor in network. So if a doctor goes in network, it's in a sense insurance marketing. They send patients to you. So if you're a new practicing doctor or you're an associate that went and you bought your own practice, you need to really consider that. And I'm not an advocate saying get in network with the world. I will never say that because, if you see 1 or 2 Humana patients throughout a given year, why on earth would you be in network with that insurance company?
Right.
But if you've got a big hospital next to you with MetLife or Guardian, you need to seriously look into that because all of these people and patients might end up coming to your practice. You fill your books up. And then at that point, you want to make sure that you're not bending over backwards and getting carpal tunnel as a dentist if you're just seeing hundreds of patients when, and yet not getting the reimbursement. But all of that can be figured out. It's just, it's scaling. I think sometimes the magical number I thought for mom and pops is about 3 or 4 insurances around your area. But then you have these connection dental type things now, these umbrella networks, which get you in network with a bunch of different insurance companies. And they all carry the same fee schedule. So at that point, make sure that the fee schedule works for you and you have one fee schedule to work with. You pull all of these patients and you can make very good reimbursement, and then as long as, of course, if your usual and customary fees are fair, reasonable, you're going to keep those patients as well.
So a couple of questions for you, kind of back-to-back questions here. When I know you probably want to talk to every dentist on the planet, if you're like me, right? You want to talk to as many people as possible. Who needs to call you? Not who should, but who absolutely positively needs to call you? What's a red flag in your practices?
Yeah, red flags. You got to look at your insurance agent report. Insurance agent reports literally range on average from 30 to 50% over 30 days. So dental claims are paid in 2 and 3 days nowadays with electronic funds transfers, electronic remits advice. You get your payment. You can go onto the web portal and find this. There should not be a lag of 30 days unless it's kind of one of these smaller insurance companies. So there's some major red flag. If you have $100,000 sent out to insurance and $30,000 is over 30 days, that's a 30% insurance agent report over 30 days. That's a red flag. Right. One, either somebody's not doing their job, or 2, you have an issue. You have a kink in that dental billing process, right? If you identify that kink, you can fix your problems. It could be on the claim submission end. It could be data entry. It could be insurance verification. That is when it is somebody that needs to call us. If you're getting too busy and you can't figure it out, yet training is so difficult in a dental office to where it's like, okay, you can outsource that to an expert that can take over that process without you having to train them. You keep your same staff. You're not training somebody, and then you can do it for a lower cost. Again, somebody leaving a practice, they need to absolutely call us if they run into that issue. I like that you said that earlier. That's a very glass half full way to look at it. What if that person coming in increases your collections by 30%? Damn, I'd love that. I don't see that a whole lot, but that being said, that is a very good way to look at it. But, to your point, insurance agent report to me is the most important report in an office. It literally can tell you where there are issues in your office. Just one report has nothing to do necessarily with scheduling or anything like that. You can just immediately see where your office is lacking by looking at an insurance agent report.
If you took, and I know this is kind of random how I'm going to throw this out there, but if the average practice, let's say, is doing $1 million a year, let's just say that's the number, from doing a kind of a shoddy job or an average, we'll call it an average job, with their insurance billing compared to hiring a company like yours? What does that equate to dollar and cents wise in a dentist pocket?
Dollar and cents wise, we see the national average at 91% collection percentage, meaning that if you produce your net production, I should say, so production minus some write-offs, courtesies, insurance write-offs, whatever, is $1 million. Most offices are collecting 910 or 900,000. You're leaving $100,000 on the table. And to be honest, some of that is looked at by a lot of dentists as okay. I don't know if it's because they feel financially secure. I don't know what that might be, but to us, that number, so you're going to have a little bit of money here and there or bad debt for a patient, something like that. But you got to be in the 98 to 100% range. There's no reason that you shouldn't be. It's $100,000. So I think we can all figure out ways to use $100,000.
Well, I would look at that, Josh. I would look at that as more like $3 million. So, right, over a year, we're talking $1 million plus.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And every 7 years, money doubles.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, in 21 years, actually, we're looking at $4 million.
You got it.
Years 0 through, we're looking at $4 million. That's the difference. $4 million. You throw $4 million on top of what anyone else has put as, aside for retirement, and that's a different way. That's a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
That's the difference between only having one yacht and having two yachts, right? West and East Coast. No more, lengthy trips through the Panama Canal. That's a different lifestyle. So, Josh, when looking for a company to help out with us or an individual to help out with us, what are 2 or 3 things that, someone needs to look for?
Trust. Building trust, working with a company that understands really what your mindset is and where you want to go, but then also kind of making sure you find what you need to. Sometimes you go to a company that says they do it all, but they do a lot kind of averagely. Sure. I think we've put some literature and some content out there about finding the best dental billing company. We wrote an article. I think it was 9 or 10 best dental billing companies out there. We'll tell you what we do as opposed to what other people do. Make sure it's a fit for you is what I would say, and make sure you have your dental team on board. I can probably speak for multiple outsourced dental billing companies out there. We can get pushback every now and then. Sometimes we're looked at as a threat, but really nobody should ever lose their position. If it's just the mindset of the doctor that we're coming in to work with the team, it ends up working out very well. We have our own our systems and processes. We know offices do too. We work directly with them to get it done. So I would say it's making sure that you know where you want to go as a dentist, and then you let a company that you employ do that and help you out that way rather than say, well, we do it this way. Well, we're coming in to tell you maybe the right way to go about it and just, build trust that way.
Sure. Makes sense to me. Josh, let me throw out your website address. I'm going to encourage our audience to give you a call. It's dentalclaimsupport.com. Check these guys out. We're talking $3-4 million, right? You work 30-year career, $8 million. That's not chump change. Josh, we thank you so much for being here. Check out the website, dentalclaimsupport.com. Josh, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode. Did you know you can weigh in on today's topic on Facebook? Search The Dental Brief on Facebook or visit our website, dentalbrief.com, and just follow the link. We look forward to having you join us again on another episode of The Dental Brief.